of Fox Sports.
We are Black Force. We are Florida.
And Castro with a line drive home run to left center field. Get it done. Wow. My goodness, Starlin Castro, stay hot, my friend. Wow. As Anderson sends one to left center field. And that one is gone. Back-to-back home runs for the Marlins. And they have taken a 3-2 lead. 1-1 to Holiday. Ground ball up the middle. It's a base hit. And another walk-off win for the Marlins. Brian Holiday comes through. And it's a 4-3 Marlins win. Brian Holiday is the hero with his first career walk-off hit. Congratulations. Welcome to South Florida. Pablo Lopez gets the ball tonight in the middle game of a three-game set. Milwaukee Brewers, Miami Marlins. Safe to say the roof is closed. Stormy outside as Christian Yelich and the Brewers, they hope to bounce back after Miguel Rojas, Cameron Maybin, and the Marlins kind of stole one last night. Stolen bases, a double steal to set up the game winner last night. Inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollandsworth. What a game it was last night. Of course, we started yesterday's show by saying that JT Realmuto, an all-star, is going to have a baby. Well, we can report that mom and baby girl are happy, healthy, and okay. We expect to see JT back on Friday against the Phillies. As for his replacement, not always easy being a backup catcher, but what a night last night for Brian Holiday. Yes, the walk-off, but did a lot of other things.
Well, and that's it. You take on that role of captain. You've got to be able to do a lot of things. You've got to be able to bunt, maybe a little bit of a sacrifice fly, and you got to be a leader defensively. Well, let's show you some highlights from last night. Why not? Well, we've seen him do this time and time again. Throw a runner out. Great release time. Great tag by Starlin Castro, but keeping the speedy Brewers, by the way, lead Major League Baseball in stolen bases in check. Let's move on. Here's your sacrifice fly, getting the Marlins on the scoreboard and understanding the situation right there. Remember, he's at the bottom of the lineup. So again, pitcher hitting behind him, get the job done, gets that run in. Does a fantastic job. This is my favorite one, telling Urania where to go and covering third base. That's what the captain of the defense does. Getting the sacrifice bunt down. Never easy to do when everybody knows it's coming. And here's the most important one of all, Paul, a walk-off winner.
That was the first of his career after the double steal by Miguel Rojas and Cameron Maybin. Sends everybody home happy.
I'll tell you, you look how that inning was built from Rojas getting on base to Maybin. I mean, we talk stars all the time, right? Realmuto's not in the building. He's his family's, they've got a baby, for crying out loud. Right. He's not here. And what gets done, some of the guys that we don't talk about so much step up into new roles and get this thing handled.
Yeah, it was fantastic. He'll be behind the plate for Pablo Lopez tonight in his third big league start. But tonight it's an Email Twitter Tuesday with the hashtag MLB lookalikes. Oh, this is going to be fun tonight. We're coming back in a moment. just a bit, but first, downstairs to Jessica Blaylock.
Hey, Ball, we have got such a fun edition of a Twitter and email Tuesday coming up for you tonight. We're going to go with the hashtag MLB lookalikes. Pick out a big league player and tell us who their doppelganger could be. Here's how you can get in touch with us tonight. Send your emails to foxmarlins@gmail.com. You can send those tweets to @foxmarlins. And don't forget to use that hashtag MLB lookalikes. We already got a great suggestion earlier today from Luis. Check this out. Derek Dietrich and the Hulk. Now, I showed Don Mattingly that picture, and he said, yeah, they kind of look alike, except for that Dietrich is never green. He's usually just orange from his spray tan. So as of right now, Don Mattingly with the line of the day. Coming up next, it is first pitch between the Marlins and the Brewers in Game 2 of a 3-game series here at Marlins Park. Last night, Miami won it in dramatic fashion thanks to Brian Holiday. The Marlins looking to make it 2 in a row tonight.
Taking over, yeah, we taking over the game. Take over, now we taking over the game. And you know we won't stop, cause we don't feel pain. Now we taking over the game. Taking over, yeah, we taking over the game. Take over, cause now we taking over the game. Yeah, we never stop, we don't feel pain.
Pablo Lopez set for his third big league start and second here at Marlins Park as he is headed out to the bump in the middle game of this 3-game series against the first place in the National League Central, Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Lopez has had one good start, one okay start. Of course, he was the one that started the game that the Marlins had a 9-0 lead and ended up losing the lead and the game. This is the lineup that Lopez will face in his third big league start. And it starts with that man at the top. The Brewers starting lineup presented to you by Southwest. Eric Thames in there at leadoff. Of course, former Marlin Christian Yelich hits second. Jesus Aguilar with yet another home run. He leads the National League in homers. Hit one last night. He has been an absolute beast in this Brewers lineup. So how about the bounce back tonight for Pablo Lopez? And you know, I said it before, it's a game certainly the Marlins would love to forget. They had a 9-0 lead, lost the lead, lost the game. It's kind of the last tie to it, so after tonight we'll be able to move past it, but kind of good and bad in that start.
Well, and I think for Lopez, the 5.73 a little bit misleading. Of course, he gave up 5 earned runs in the 5th inning. of that first game in D.C., which was, at the time, he was staked to a 9-0 lead. So, yeah, we can dive into the circumstances all you want. Lesson learned. I mean, he was absolutely brilliant through 3 innings, faced the minimum, struck out a batter, and was cruising along. And I think it's really more the mental aspect of the game of Major League Baseball that we talk about, having to learn how to kind of get after it, even though you got a 9-0 lead. Got to establish that curveball, have to have a fallback plan, and he got burned in that 5th inning. So you're right. I look at this as a huge opportunity to bounce back for himself personally tonight against a good Brewers ball club.
Well, he even said it afterwards that he knew that he would learn a lot from that outing. Again, he is a young guy, just his 3rd big league start. So to sit here and try to put him in Cooperstown at this point certainly would be foolish. But the bottom line is the Marlins like him a lot, and we'll see just how he does bounce back. It's Eric Thames to lead things off, and we are underway. A strike at the bottom of the zone for strike 1 to Thames, who leads things off. He was 1 for 4 yesterday, 13 homers and 27 RBIs this year, and 4 for 12 on the season against the Marlins. That one off the glove of Rojas over at 3rd. He was the only Marlin defender on the left side, had to move to his left. We'll see how they score it, but Thames is aboard with a base hit.
Yeah, with 3 Marlins infielders to the right side and only 1 to the left, and playing, well, between 2nd and 3rd almost literally. Thames takes the sinker away and just slaps at it, but again, him slapping at the baseball, still get a little exit velocity there. That top end, a strong one, and 1 hopper gets past Rojas.
So it's Christian Yelich now, and immediately out of the stretch for Pablo Lopez. And on the first pitch, Yelich to left field, and that one is going to hit the base of the wall. Dietrich plays it there, and a double for Christian Yelich. And the Brewers already in business 3 pitches into the game.
Yeah, I had a feeling there might be some blowback from the last start, some game planning by this Brewers ball club early, testing Lopez, jumping him before he gets to settle in. 3 pitches in, Lopez is in trouble already with runners on 2nd and 3rd. Yelich looking for a sinker away. See it in his eyes. Got it. Didn't miss it.
13th double of the year for Christian Yelich. As Lopez with his back against the wall early. Here is Jesus Aguilar, 23 home runs to lead the National League. He takes a breaking ball off, down low rather, and this one, the home run last night off Jose Urena.
Yeah, 4th home run in 4 games. He's hot. He's got the power going right now. You mentioned 23 home runs on the season, and I'll tell you right now, Lopez has got to be careful in this situation. We talked about this during the ball game last night. The 2-seam action to the inner 3rd of the plate. He's turning on velocity right now. Anything middle in, he is hitting with authority. So again, there's a reason the numbers don't lie. 292 batting average against Lopez. 3 home runs he's given up, all to right-handed hitters.
Misses inside, 2 balls and no strikes. Of course, Aguilar's name has been bandied about quite a bit the last 24 hours or so. Part of that National League final vote to get him to the All-Star game. The numbers, as we mentioned, fantastic. Not just the home runs, but the slugging percentage leads the National League. The OPS leads the National League. And now 3 balls and no strikes. And he, along with Brandon Belt, Matt Carpenter, Max Muncy, and Trey Turner, all part of that final vote for the All-Star game. Voting at MLB.com ends tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. A lot of viral videos. I saw Derek Holland and Hunter Pence looking like lunatics the other day, trying to get Brandon Belt to the All-Star game. But that's what the teammates do this time of year. It's all in good fun. Bases loaded after the walk, and there is nobody out and nowhere to put Travis Shaw.
Well, an RBI base hit last night for Shaw. He's been slumping here a little bit of late. 293 on the season with runners in scoring position. Rounded into 6 double plays.
That one misses. And blocked by Holiday to keep Thames at third. Well, there was a 30-pitch second inning against the New York Mets for Lopez in his first big league start. And then in that fifth inning against the Nationals last time out, 36 pitches. Other than that, was pretty economical. The first 4 innings, 13, 11, 15, and 8. And that is Riddle up the middle. He'll get to the second base bag and safe at first base. It was dug out by Cooper, but not in time. Shaw will reach on the fielder's choice. An RBI groundout has the Brewers up 1-0.
Now JT thought the quickest path was one that he would take himself. He knows best. See Starlin Castro, kind of an odd angle, coming back to second base. Of course, I'm not sure he would have been able to even get a throw across the diamond. So probably the right decision. You see right there, talk about it all the time, baseball, a game of angles. A hard hit ball produces the first run of the game for the Brewers. Marlins last night were able to beat the Brewers at their own game. We talk about this an awful lot. Scoring first. The Brewers scored first last night, only their 14th loss of the season. Now 43-14 when they score first.
A walk-off win last night for Don Mattingly's bunch, their 5th walk-off win of the year. And the 0-1 to Tyler Saladino. This is upstairs, a ball and no strikes. Saladino getting the start at shortstop today. He's putting together the .281 average, 4 homers and 11 RBIs, a waiver claim by the Brewers from the Chicago White Sox. And at .281 overall, good enough to bump Orlando Arcia down to AAA.
A good breaking ball from Lopez. That's a good sign. He's got to trust that pitch. He's got to find it tonight, discover it, use it. It has to be in some regards respected by the Brewers lineup. They eliminate his curveball. He's only got a 2-pitch arsenal. It's kind of what happened in the 5th inning. He threw 2 curveballs of the 36 pitches that 5th inning in DC. What hitters like to do as a lineup, they try to box you into a corner and make you predictable.
One-two pitch to Saladino. Pokes that one foul.
Here's the Marlins defensively for tonight's ball game. Dietrich gets the start in left, Maben in center once again, Anderson over in right, Rojas, Riddle, Castro, Cooper gets the start at first base tonight. Holiday behind the plate once again.
Another 1-2 pitch on the way. This one is foul down the third baseline. Didn't miss by much. But thankfully for the Marlins, it was foul. So Saladino will see another. Got an at-bat last night, 0 for 1. As I mentioned, came over from the White Sox on the 19th of April. Well, you mentioned the low number of curveballs in that 5th inning. Lopez said after the game he didn't have his best secondary stuff. I mean, just in general, not just in that inning.
And again, in not to fault Lopez, listen, he was up 9-0 early in his second big league start. It's almost like, how do you process that out?
Right.
This is the big leagues. You have to have your arsenal. Like, he was kind of doing it, dare I say, minor league style. you know, he got through the lineup one time throwing basically his two-seamer. I mean, he went through it, saw 9 guys through 3 innings, and really didn't have to step on the accelerator, pull off. He did throw a few changeups, but my point merely is this. This is the big leagues. You've got to have a breaking ball to go with it if you do get in trouble, regardless of the score, to get yourself out. You've got to have a plan B. He never had a plan B set up just because he got into the rhythm of the game. He was throwing his two-seamer, which he was using very effectively. Secondary pitches just didn't come along.
Brad Miller waits on deck. Another mid-season addition for this Milwaukee Brewers team, which may not be done as they are atop the National League Central, gearing up for the trade deadline, and for them, hopefully, a run toward the postseason. Check swing foul to Miller in the on-deck circle. Still 1-2. So Craig Counsell has his club playing well again. This is kind of how it went last year, as the first half of the season, at the time, the defending World Series champion Chicago Cubs were just kind of treading water right around that 500 mark for most of the first half. And then they really turned it into high gear in the second half, and Milwaukee missed out. Puts him away with 93 miles an hour. So Lopez wins the battle. His first strikeout, second out here in the first.
Man, some really good signs for the young Lopez. I'll tell you what, he changed gears, he changed speeds, he used his curveball both away and in, and finally put Saladino away with a fastball at 93 miles an hour up. I mean, that's just it. You've got to be able to move the ball around the zone, trust your pitches, and find ways to get big outs. He just did.
So now Brad Miller. 0 for 4 last night. He has hit safely in 11 of the 14 games he's played as a Brewer. Takes ball 1. Came over from the Tampa Bay Rays on June 10th.
Now, he may have hit into the biggest double play in last night's game in the 10th inning. It's the inning Brad Ziegler wiggled out of a bases loaded jam. Got Miller to chase a sinker and set up the walk-off.
Takes the ball just upstairs, says the home plate umpire Mike Machlinski. Borderline, but now 2-0. That's a strike. Speaking of Machlinski, by the way, found out today that he is going to actually be the left field umpire in the All-Star game coming up next week, a week from tonight. Adrian Johnson, the umpire at first, Trip Gibson at second, and the crew chief Brian Gorman is over at third.
Congratulations to him. Certainly a big honor.
And the 2-1 on the way to Miller. Caught on and missed, 2-2.
Now circle change, arm side run. Depth at home plate. Great equalizer. Now back in the count.
Well, the inning started with a base hit for Eric Thames, and then a double for Christian Yelich. A walk to Aguilar loaded the bases with nobody out. You got a ground ball and a strikeout as Miller sends this one down the left field line, but into the seats. Still 2-2.
I'll tell you what, Paul, I know we've seen him now. This is his third start. He's only in inning 1. Can't get it out of my head. He's been impressive this inning. Lopez, I'll say it. He gets this out right here. It's the most impressive big league inning he's thrown. I mean, it's all fine and dandy to dominate lineup like he did with the Mets, you know, again with the Nationals early. But he's had to work. Bases loaded. He's one pitch away from getting out of this, minimizing the damage. Wow.
Just outside, I suppose, as Shaw takes second on the pitch. Well, here's the thing. A strike should be a strike. Sometimes where the catcher sets up and where the ball ends up, it's that old optical illusion.
Ball strike.
I don't disagree. Well, he got him on the next pitch anyway. What an inning for Lopez. 25 pitches, early trouble, but a couple of strikeouts to get out, down 1. Park, the Brewers get 1 in the first inning, but it could have been a lot more than that. Excellent job to get out of further damage for Pablo Lopez, and we'll see what the Marlins can do offensively. Their starting lineup presented to you by Southwest. Derek Dietrich at the top. Brian Anderson and Starlin Castro back-to-back home runs in the late innings last night. Garrett Cooper is in at first base to give Justin Bour a night off, and the hero Brian Holiday back in the lineup with JT Realmuto still on paternity leave. And again, as we mentioned in the open, a baby girl welcome to the world this morning for the Realmutos. Baby, mom, doing great. Jolie Chacin on the bump, his 20th start this year for the Brewers. And the 1-0 to Dietrich is lined fair down the right field line. Dietrich will have extra bases to lead off the night for the Marlins.
Now, two-seam fastball inside part of the plate. Missed his target. Chacin certainly did. Dietrich ready to hit. Rips it inside the right field line. Makes his way to second base. Marlins in business.
Well, both teams jumping on the opposing starter early. Second pitch of the game from Chacin, the 17th double of the year for Dietrich, and now here's Brian Anderson. First pitch to Anderson in there for a called strike. Take you back to last night. Another home run, the back half of the back-to-back.
I love this, and I didn't have a chance to talk to Andy today about this. But again, great game planning, right? Starlin Castro, 11 pitch at bat, saw it all, hits the home run and jumps all over him.
This one chopped to Shaw at third, and Dietrich will stay put at second, 1 away.
All right, let's go ahead and get you the AutoNation scouting report of Chacin. He's been good for him this year, 7-3, 6.3 ERA coming in. You mentioned it, 20 to start. All right, consistent contributor. I just mentioned that. How about these splits? 3.69 ERA at Miller Park, 3.59 ERA on the road. So he's been good, no doubt about it. Command and control, absolutely vital to this man's game. Chacin, he's 30 years old, so he's not a young guy anymore. Doesn't possess velocity. 90-91 on the sinker and the four-seam fastball, but he relies heavily on a slider. He usually throws it 35 to 40 times a game. Last one, lead the way. We've already seen it. Versus Chacin. First batters of the game this year, now 9 for 18. I knew we weren't going to do the AutoNation scouting report before Dietrich got in the box, but I saw the numbers. Leading off an inning, hitters are hitting 306 against him. How about this? Leadoff hitters, meaning Dietrich tonight, .420 with a .474 on base percentage against Chacin. He has struggled with the top spot in the lineup big time.
Well, the league has struggled with Starlin Castro recently. He takes low, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, I got to admit, when I got to the park today, I thought Starlin was going to be leading off just for all those reasons I gave you.
That's right.
Saw Dietrich in the top spot, but of course, leadoff double. So there you go.
Well, instead of me reading through that silly lineup, you should have led with that.
Well,
it would have made you look like a genius.
Well, it's part of the Auto Nation scouting report, and it's got its place as well. I kind of knew we were going to get to it after maybe an hour or so. So just wasn't surprised. Second pitch of the ball game ripped into the corner.
Exactly. Well, 3-0 to Castro. He was on an 8-game hit streak, hitting .486 in that span with 7 multi-hit games as part of that 8-game hit streak. And he takes low for ball 4, 2 on for Garrett Cooper.
Let's go ahead and get you the Brewers defensively for tonight's ball game. Yelich is going to get the start in left field once again. Broxton in center, making his 9th start in center field. Thames in right. Shaw, Salandino, Miller, Aguilar over at first. Kratz behind the plate tonight with Chacin. Marlins back on April 20th saw Chacin. He pitched pretty well at Miller Park, 6 innings, 4 hits, no earned runs, did walk 3, struck out 5. A real takeaway from that was the 42 sliders he threw in that outing, and that's not even a season high. The reason I bring up the slider so much, of course, he uses it. He's only given up 20 hits this season on his slider, and again uses it about 40% of the time. Hitters hitting only .133 against the pitch. Of those 20 hits, 14 singles.
This one has a chance for more than that. Broxton will cut it off before it gets to the gap, but Garrett Cooper has himself an RBI base hit, and we are tied in the first.
Now, one thing that we've learned about Cooper since he's returned, and of course it was a few days ago, he can go the other way. And he can take a pitch low and away and drive it the other way. Saw two base hits in DC going to right field, this to right center. Nice job, head down, barrel through. 103 miles an hour off the bat.
So Cooper with the knock, and we're back to square one. Here is JT Riddle, 2 for 4 last night. Last couple of weeks or so hitting .377. He's 20 for his last 53. Really getting into that groove. 5 homers and 19 RBIs. A closer look here, the Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. How has he done the last 14 days against starting pitchers? Well, he has feasted, in fact, hitting .565 against starting pitchers the last 2 weeks.
And you look at .565. I know, certainly not a soft .565 either. It's been quite loud. Before saying that, though, I thought, is there such thing as a soft .565?
It's a lot of bloops if it is. No, he has been fantastic. Slugging percentage up to .470 on the year, and now this one into center field. Broxton will play it on a hop, and it's an RBI for Riddle as Castro scores. And it's 2-1 Marlins.
Well, did you just speak that into being? Did you say something about a bloop?
Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't getting his bloops. Well, maybe he is getting his bloops now. There you go. Right? Yeah. Line drive in the box score. I tell you, when you're looking to clean up RBIs, pick them up, drive guys in, a lot of times it's better to go less exit velocity than, well, Cooper used 103. Didn't need it on this one. Just enough as it nestles in center field. Starlin Castro scores easily. Well,
for Riddle, it's now a 6-game hit streak for him. Now first and second, one out for Miguel Rojas.
I tell you what, it's been a lot of fun for the Marlins. Remember, they got off to this horrendous start, 5-17 on the season, right? How about 33-38 since that ridiculous start? But I guess where I'm going with this, you know, over the last 4 to 6 weeks, you know, I put the scouting report together of the pitcher, and you know, I'm baseball mind, played a few games in my time, so you kind of look for things. There's a game plan for a lot of good starting pitchers that, you know, a lot of times will play itself out. The Marlins over the last 2 or 3 weeks have been defeating, literally just absolutely manhandling these scouting reports. You know, the idea being this guy's in a groove. Like Chase Anderson last night. He couldn't have come in any hotter than he was. And you watch what the Marlins are doing as far as their at-bats. They're grinding them out. They're seeing pitches. They're making guys work. Offense has been absolutely fantastic over the last month.
Yeah, great job. Frank Menachino, Mike Pagliarulo doing a terrific job with the hitters.
Frankie told me a couple days ago he wasn't too happy about the 35 runners that were left on base in D.C. I said, yeah, but you left 35 runners on base.
That's right. They hit close to 350 in the series. They scored 28 runs.
There's a lot of ways you can look at it. You know, look at the numbers in July, for crying out loud. 294.
Yeah. 40 points above the National League average.
These two men are getting it done. Tell you, Frankie and Pags, they work tirelessly. They are here almost 16 hours a day.
Rojas comes up empty for strike 2 in the inning. 2 on and 2 out for Cameron Maben. Maben last night 2 for 3, couple of stolen bases, was the back half of the double steal in the 10th inning. And he as well has a 6-game hit streak. So, you know, you look up and down, you've got an 8-game hit streak going for Castro. We're up to 6 for Riddle. It's now 6 for Maben. Reached base 4 times yesterday. Well, for Chacin, on the 24th of June, he gave up 8 earned runs in 4 1/3 against the St. Louis Cardinals. This one out of play down the right field line. You know, you can't, play this game with some pitchers every once in a while. You can't actually do it at the end of the day. But if you take that start out, right, his last 6 otherwise, 4-1 with a 1.98 ERA. So you talk about a guy who is in a groove. I mean, everybody's okay to have a rough start in 7. I think any pitcher would take 6 good ones and 1 bad one, right? But to your point, pitcher in a groove, and the Marlins get 2 in the first off of Chacin. 2-1 after 1. One going at the top of the second inning. It'll be Keon Broxton, Eric Kratz, and Jolie Chassin, bottom third of the order, against Pablo Lopez, who had to work in the first inning. 25 pitches in that inning, but only the one run. Could have been a lot different. He had the bases loaded, nobody out. Broxton takes a ball outside. Broxton 0 for 1 last night. And there's strike one at the bottom of the zone. Well, there's been so much talk kind of around Pablo Lopez about how cerebral he is and how maybe, mature beyond his years, as he will field this one from Broxton and all in one motion throws, but Keon just a little bit too quick, an infield single.
You can almost see that developing. Broxton possesses very good speed, certainly getting out of the box. And once he gets going, swinging bunt, the only play that Lopez has is himself. Broxton possesses definitely some very likable tools for this Brewers club. He was a starter at one point, has transitioned more into a role player now that he's back up with the big club. Lost some playing time when Yelich and Kane came on board.
Here's Eric Kratz. Marlins have 3 on the left side of the infield as time was called. Saw Jacob Nottingham last night behind the plate. Got his first 2 big league hits. Eric Kratz the start tonight. Kratz started the year with the New York Yankees and was acquired at the end of May, the 25th of May. Came over to Milwaukee. They've had some issues just in terms of health with the catcher. Manny Pena currently on the disabled list. Little bicep issue for him. So opening up a spot for Kratz. 1-0 pitch shot down the right field line, but into the seats. 1-1. Nice grab. Out of the Adirondack chair to make the play. Nice work. I still got to give it to the kid last night. I think the kid last night, great play down the left field line.
Best fan catch here at Marlins Park this season.
Yeah. He gets a couple extra points because he was like 9 years old.
I'd give him extra points because like everybody around him got in his way.
And the traffic. Yeah.
My goodness. Half of those people not even paying attention. Yeah, Sebastian made a fantastic catch. Let's show it to you again. Now look at everybody.
Think how?
Excuse me, nice gentleman next to you. Please don't stick your hands in my way and then pull them out of the way.
He's like, what?
That's right.
Urania likes the defense behind him no matter if they're actually on the roster or not. That was great. A little delay on the field here. Not sure what they were looking at, but whatever it was, they are not going to take a closer look. We play on. I believe it was whether or not Broxton was back at first. It's a 1-1 to Kratz. Inside, 2 balls and a strike. Kratz has hit safely in each of his first 6 games as a Brewer, or did rather. 10 for his first 23, but since then 2 for 35 and hitless in his last 20 at bats. This one slowly rolled to the right side. Castro moving over. Of course, he was on the shortstop side of the bag. but he was able to make the play for the first out.
Come out to Marlins Park to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the legendary movie The Sandlot on Sunday, July 15th, and receive a Ham Porter bobblehead powered by South Florida Ford. Purchase a VIP ticket package and receive a limited Squints bobblehead. Purchase your tickets today at marlins.com/sandlot.
That one's cool. That one's going to go like hotcakes.
I think you're right.
Jolie Chacin now.
Now be careful here. He can swing the bat. 6 hits on the season already. 6 for 29. Sitting 207. He was raised a Rocky, so he knows how to hit. 59 career hits.
Broxton away from second as Lopez goes off speed. Well, how impressed were you with the way that he battled in that first inning?
Wow.
Because that could have been a blow-up inning.
Listen, he didn't just sit back and start using the two-seamer more and tried to throw better two-seamers. He pitched. You saw the changeup. You saw the breaking ball. You saw hitters counts where he kept them off balance. That's what you do at the big league level. That's how you survive. That's how you become a starter. That's how you grow up here. And you got to have more than, I mean, unless you're possessed 97 to 99 on a consistent basis. I mean, you got to bring more to the table. So far tonight, we've seen from Lopez under all circumstances, and again a little duress in the first inning, and maybe that's a good thing as this game moves on, forcing him to get right into those secondary pitches and use them, trust them, develop them.
Ball and 2 strikes to Chacin. Grounds one to Riddle, who throws to third, and they will get the lead runner, Broxton. We've seen that from Riddle a couple of times. Very aggressive going to third to get the out.
Yeah, this is some questionable base running by Broxton. Good base runner at second base, certainly knows ball in front. You've got to go back to second base, ball behind. You can move on to third. Not to mention he had to leave the ground to get up over that ground ball. Nice job by JT. He certainly recognized a good throw to third.
Oh, we talked about Brockton's speed, but he gracefully leapt over and kind of froze in midair, and that cost him a step. As Thames rips this one down the right field line, and a fair ball, one hops the wall. Chacin being held at third on the 2-out double by Thames.
Well, now you see the significance of the base running. Not to mention, you've got your starting pitcher going first to third trying to score with 2 outs. So definitely exerting some effort on the bases. The Marlins is what you like to see because you still are 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning unscathed.
That ball was tattooed 107.7 off the bat. 5th double of the year for Eric Thames, and that'll bring up Christian Yelich, who had a double in the first inning. Ball 1. Lopez worked out of trouble in the first. We'll see if he can do it again here in the second. Line over the leaping glove of Riddle. Chacin and Thames come in to score as Yelich drives in 2. It's 3-2 Milwaukee.
Well, the game and a half since returning to Marlins Park for Christian Yelich has been filled with what has made him special throughout his career, using the entire field, staying inside a 2-seam fastball, and you saw it there. 2 hits tonight, both going the other way. This one 2 out, 2 RBI single. 2 for 2 in the ball game.
And 4 hits in the series for Yelich, as Aguilar, who walked in his first plate appearance, ahead in the count, a ball and no strikes.
Well, Thames and Yelich 4 for 4 in the game. The rest of the lineup's only got 1 hit.
Well, another thing Lopez said after his last game was that he was going to take a lot from it, that he wanted to work on his sequencing and his breaking ball during his bullpens. He's always been one to show that will to want to improve, and even Don Mattingly talked about that today in advance of this start, was just how impressed he was with, you know, wanting to improve the game planning and kind of knowing what he did wrong. I mean, it's one thing to succeed or fail. It's another to realize what led you to the successes and failures, not by doing it, you know, by accident. So he knows what went wrong. He tried to work on it in between, but now a run in the first, 2 so far in the second. Facing Jesus Aguilar, misses low, 2-1.
Well, and I think what you've seen from Lopez so far in the ball game today is recognizing those patterns and certainly working on them and sequencing differently. Next step is execution, because here's where you've seen some mistakes even in this inning, is actually not the choice of pitch but the actual execution of the pitch. You know, a hanging changeup to Christian Yelich, not a bad idea, wrong spot in the strike zone. No.
Three and one now to Aguilar. Aguilar a little frustrated with himself for not pulling the trigger on that one.
Yeah, they went with the 3-1 changeup.
So 3-2 will give Yelich a head start over at first. Fouled away. Good job, Jessica. Got her clipboard up to protect herself. Very good. We have eyes everywhere, Jessica. Be careful down there. I mean, good effort to make the catch and all, but right back to the notes. Another 3-2 on the way. Back to the screen. Well, 25 pitches in the first inning for Lopez. His next one will be 22 of this inning.
Next one to Aguilar will be number 8.
Left field line, but looking foul. Yelich will be in much better shape by the end of this plate appearance.
I think he's just going to be flat out tired.
Either way. Lopez trying to put away one of the hottest hitters in the National League. Another payoff pitch on the way, and it misses upstairs for ball 4. Second time tonight that Aguilar has been walked, and out to the mound goes pitching coach Juan Nieves. 2 walks tonight for Lopez, both to Aguilar, 2 on and 2 out.
Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by Coors Light. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go.
Yelich at second after the 2 RBI single. And Aguilar at first. 2 outs for Travis Shaw, who had the RBI ground out in the first inning. That one bounces away from Holiday, and both runners will move up 90 feet. Somehow Shaw got out of the way of that one.
He slid both feet. I still think it hit him in the foot. Obviously it didn't. Well, might as well hit him in the foot. There you go. He's going to make his way to first base with the intentional walk. Now, you look at what's going on right now, Paul, and it really is just that. It's not that Lopez has been willing to use his arsenal with a lot more function in this start. It's just pitch execution more than anything. I think that last curveball is a pretty good example. Again, not a bad idea in theory. Start the at-bat off with a get me over curveball. That was nowhere near get me over.
Already up to 50 pitches. Here's the 0-1 to Saladino. Lined into left field for a base hit. Yelich will score. Aguilar around third. That throw is cut off. Rojas flips, and Riddle applies the tag. But both runs come in to score. And it's 5-2 Milwaukee as we go to the bottom of the second here in Miami.
Twitter email Tuesday theme is the hashtag MLB lookalikes. We've got one for you that involves Logan Morrison, who played for the Marlins from 2010 to 2013. How about Evan Peters from the TV show American Horror Story? I think that one is pretty good. Send in your MLB lookalikes. You can email us, foxmarlins@gmail.com, or tweet us at foxmarlins. Guys,
that was very good, and I know that there are only a lot more to come. It's some very good ones. You showed one earlier Derek Dietrich had his shirt ripped off compared to the Hulk. I know that they tweeted Pete Davidson and Christian Yelich earlier today. I think there's like a Steckenrider and McConaughey probably. Very nice. Well, last night Brian Holiday looked a lot like a hero, and that's because he was his first career walk-off. See what he has planned for an encore as he taps that one foul, 1-2. Couple RBIs last night, along with the walk-off hit, a sacrifice fly earlier in the game. And the 1-2 now from Chacin. And a base hit to right field for Brian Holiday. How about that?
Well, you shouldn't be surprised. All you have to do is follow the AutoNation scouting report. You know that odds were on his side, right? Chacin has struggled with that leadoff hitter, and once again, great swing of the bat by Holiday. A two-seamer up, lines it to right. Marlins poised to respond.
Bunted foul by Lopez.
Well, it's been a theme lately. We've told you, getting that leadoff batter on. Marlins leadoff batters have reached in 14 in the last 21 innings. Scored 7 runs. I'm not going to mention the number of runners that have been left on base. We'll just skip that part. Is that convenient?
You can call it a lot if you want. I mean, that's fine.
We'll not give details to that. They are getting the leadoff guy on. That's important.
Trying to move that runner over, at least on the first 2 pitches from Chacin, but Lopez doesn't square, takes outside, and it's 2-1. Shaw still in on the grass, creeping in from third. 3-1.
Well, the same could be said for Chacin. Much like Lopez, that command, fastball command in particular, has been average at best. This first time through the lineup.
And a base hit for Lopez toward the gap in left center. Over to third goes Holiday. And a base hit for Pablo. First and third, nobody out.
All right. Here you go, game on.
And his first big league hit.
Well, both teams have scored every half inning so far. How about 102 miles an hour off the bat on a 3-1 pitch, going the other way? '23 combined plate appearances for these teams already. 11 hits, 3 walks, 14 base runners in the game.
First and third for Dietrich. It's funny. Sometimes there's games where it's like teams score every half inning.
Right.
And other times teams will exchange a ton of runs the first 3 innings and then it's nothing but zeros.
I just have that feeling that this might go on for a while.
Think so?
It's just the swings, man. Everybody's game planning well up there. You guys are putting together good at bats.
Dietrich left field line. Yelich gives chase. And this one is going to be a sac fly. It's the same thing as last night on Holiday's sac fly, and he's on the backside of it tonight, scoring the run to make it 5-3.
Honestly, I may have had like 2 or 3 of these in my career. Yelly's had 2 in 2 games. This medium deep down that left field line ends up making the catch in foul territory. Of course, deep enough to get the job done. Not a whole lot of space down that line either, is there?
So back to within 2, and here's Brian Anderson. Anderson grounded out in his first at bat in the first inning. Takes ball 1. He's the first Marlins rookie to 100 hits prior to the All-Star break in franchise history. The last rookie to do it, Corey Seager, in 2016.
What are you saying?
Same thing I've been saying the last 4 weeks. He deserves a lot of love at this point in the season for NL Rookie of the Year.
There you go. That's right. I thought you were going with that. How about 101? Not 101 exit velocity. 101 hit number 101. That's where I'm going with that. Honestly, as impressive as getting to 100, and we were talking about it obviously throughout the game once he got there. I found myself incredibly impressed at 101, and maybe his most impressive hit in the first half.
Yeah,
really think about it. Add up the drama, the moment, even the All-Star conversation had just been had, you know, with Hader going to the All-Star game and first half he'd had. I think I'd thrown out something like 2 for 106 somewhere in there.
Well, he'd given up 2 home runs all year. He gave 2 home runs up on back-to-back pitches. Anderson pokes this one out to center field, and that one's in there for a base hit. Dunks one in. Even he says, wow. 2 on, 1 out.
Now, Brian Anderson does this as well as anybody. He can go outside the strike zone and still get hits. And that's because he's got a really good swing, right-handed hitter, stays level through the zone, chokes up, shortens up, puts the ball in play.
Lopez in scoring position after the base hit for Anderson, the 6th of the game for the Marlins, and that will bring up Starlin Castro.
Yeah, he's not very hot right now.
No. He's got a 16-game hit streak going, or a on-base streak rather, an 8-game hit streak. But in that 15-game on-base streak, a batting average of .459, an on-base percentage of .507, and a slugging percentage of .705.
No.
Strike 1.
Now you could almost anticipate Chacin in this at bat probably will rely heavily on the slider. We talked about it, where he goes when he's in trouble. It's his out pitch.
Chopped to short, bobbled by Saladino, and they say Miller had control of that one. Second base umpire Tripp Gibson says that Miller had possession of the ball. I don't know. Naked eye, I vote no, but we'll take another look.
Naked eye, he's bobbling the ball when he gets to the base. He does not have control. No control there, no control there. Watch, he's going to get to the bag before there's control. He's definitely safe. Yeah, he's got control now, but he's already on the bag.
Now you can see that's kind of the angle that Gibson had, and there's basically no way that the second base umpire could see through the body of Brad Miller.
Yeah, that's why we have instant replay.
That is.
Well, even Saladino knows this. If you watch his facial expression after the flip and even the out call, he's kind of grimacing like, yeah, there you go. Check it out. Saladino knows.
You could even read Tripp Gibson's lips right there. He said, I didn't see him drop it. We couldn't see through him. And I believe we have our answer, which should be pretty clear, of safe at second base. So they are loaded for Garrett Cooper. The call is overturned. So again, in fairness to the umpire, here's kind of the angle that he saw, generally speaking. Sees it, and then it disappears. So they're loaded for Cooper.
Yeah, it'll go down as an E6.
Lopez at third, Anderson at second, Castro at first for Cooper, who had an RBI single in the first inning. He takes a strike on the outside corner. Well, this start for Chacín much different than his last, when he retired 20 of the last 24 batters that he faced. Nothing but traffic on the bases through the first inning and a third. A swing for Cooper, 1-1. Check that, a ball and 2 strikes to Cooper. And Chacín delivers. And he may have tipped it right in the glove of Kratz. That's out number 2.
Now 4 consecutive sliders from Chacín. And the last one gets him what he needs. Big strikeout of Cooper.
But here's JT Riddle, an RBI single in the first inning. Without a grand slam in his career, but 5 homers this year. He's certainly settled into a groove offensively. Six multi-hit games in his last 12. And terrific with runners in scoring position. Balls and a strike. 7 innings last time out for Chacín to tie a season high. Also went 7 against the Diamondbacks on May 15th. I know he's a veteran. He probably don't look too much at pitch count, but this keeps up, he won't be around for 7 tonight. Chop to second. Miller gets it to Aguilar, but the Marlins get 1 back and trail it by 2. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By WB Mason. Who but WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet. See your South Florida dealer today. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota. Let's go places. Well, a lot of offense so far. 5-3 Brewers through 2. We check in with Craig Minervini.
Well, we'll see if the Marlins can come back. They're showing you some of their fight as usual here tonight. Now it's a 5-3 game, 6 hits so far. But we want to go back a little more than a month, just give you a little perspective. We know the Marlins were struggling at the time. They were 20-39. We're talking after play on June 3rd. But look at what's happened since June 4th. Their record is 18-16 since then. That's 2 games over 500. Actually, the same record as the Brewers. You're not printing playoff tickets off that, but it is progress. Now, where is the progress? So take a look at some of the numbers from a hitting standpoint in the National League alone and their rankings. Don Mattingly's club's hitting .267. Not bad. That's 3rd in the league since June 4th. On base, 4th. Hits per game, 2nd in the league. Runs per game, middle of the pack, much better. They were at the bottom of the pack beginning of the year. Home runs, even middle of the pack. Their fielding percentage, number 1, no surprise there. Their pitching is middle of the pack. However, if you take out a couple of those monster games, they give up to 20 runs, probably a lot better than that. So when you put it all together, I asked Don Mattingly about it today. He said, hey, it's only 2 games over 500, so there's no parade here, but it is progress. He likes the way his team not only has fight, but seems to be able to bounce back from tough losses, which I think guys tend to stick out a little more because of you lose a 20-4 game or blow a 9-0 lead. It feels like you lost 3 or 4 games. And yet you look at the wider picture, pretty good baseball for a month or so.
Absolutely, Craig. It's been certainly not as bad as maybe you look at the win-loss record. If you just wake up today and you see it, you look, oh yeah, they're playing like a last-place team. We see them every night. 3 hours a night we see this team. We see the resolve of this team. We see the grit of this team. And even though they may not take home a win every night, I think at this point, right around the All-Star break, this first year, new regime, new direction, everything else, I would think that there's a lot to be proud of here for those, decision makers for the Marlins, if you will.
Here's Gary Denbo. You look at this lineup right now. I mean, you go through it. I mean, you've got some guys that have had good first halves. Guys who you would call maybe the staples of the lineup. Obviously Anderson and Castro. But where I'm going with this, look at the last little run of walk-offs. We're having Yadi Rivera conversations, Brian Holiday conversations. You're looking, this isn't just about maybe the 5 or 7 key guys that are here playing at an incredibly high level. You're getting production from other spots, and you're coming up with new heroes every night. I mean, that's a good thing to talk about. How about Cam Maben? Brinson goes down. Opportunity in center field. Nice fastball on the outside corner there to put Roxton down. But you're also creating a winning culture and a little bit of a chemistry here that's going on that, Brian Holiday steps into the moment last night and believes he's going to come through. You're not just sitting around waiting for Anderson to be the hero every night or Starlin Castro.
Well, 5 walk-offs from 4 different players, all of them their first.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's just it. I mean, when your complementary players start to elevate the level of your team, that's why they're so important. I mean, every team's got some stars. Some teams have more stars than others. But the point is you've got a team, and the team has got to do its job. And when it functions, good things start to happen. How about JT Riddle? Line up the story we just told with all the offensive numbers with where JT Riddle is of late, right?
Well, whoever goes on a run toward the end of this season and wins a pennant in either league, I can almost guarantee you people will say, oh, they have a different hero every night. You got to spread the love. You can't have this, as you said, you can't have the same 2 or 3 guys getting 3-4 hits a night.
Well, those players typically get eliminated when you get into tighter ball games. You say, all right, those aren't the guys we want to go after. We want to go after the guys that, I don't want to say use the word struggling a little bit, but maybe don't have nearly the same history. Well, those guys are winning games for you right now. That's what you want to see. The Brewers picked out Holiday last night and said, we're going to go at him. That's who we think we can get out in this situation. They had an opportunity. They had a base open. They could have put him on. What did they do? They paid for that.
Ball and 2 strikes to Eric Kratz. Got a piece. Miller grounded out. Broxton struck out. As Lopez trying to quiet the pitch count a little bit after 25 pitches in each of the first 2 innings. Trying to get back on track a little bit. Roxon fires the 1-2 pitch on the ground to Rojas at third. He's up with it. And it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Lopez. Nice bounce back. 5-3 though as we go to the bottom of the third.
The bottom of the third. Treat your family and friends to an unforgettable on-field experience at Marlins Park. Grab your glove, play catch on the field on Sunday, July 15th, where the Marlins host the Phillies. Event packages for Play Catch Day include 2 tickets and 2 all-you-can-eat wristbands. Proceeds benefit the Marlins Foundation. To reserve a spot on the field, visit marlins.com/playcatch.
That little one, probably a little too young to play catch on the field, but someday.
He wants to play catch, and he's like, no, I don't want to play catch now. No, not now, Dad. Come on.
No, I just want to eat the glove. Let me eat the glove. Miguel Rojas to lead off the bottom of the third inning. It's Rojas, Maben, and Holiday. 5-3 Brewers lead as we play on here in the bottom of the third on an email Twitter Tuesday. Got one here from Jonathan, a little further east of Miami. From Sheffield, England, in fact.
Well, I was going to say, what's east of Miami?
Yeah.
Water?
Yes. And then some land, so a little northeast of Miami. But from Sheffield, England. A Marlins fan for over 20 years, he said. Traveling with my dad over to Miami at the end of the month. Braves and Nationals series, he'll be here. Been to the USA before, seen games in New York, San Francisco, Washington. This will be our first time in Miami. Pretty much a trip to see Marlins Park and this Marlins team in person. Started following baseball when it was first shown in the UK back in 1997. Well, if you're a Marlins fan in 97, that's a good place to start. So it'll be certainly nice to see Jonathan and family when they come to the ballpark.
Yeah, across the pond.
Yeah.
I think.
I will say this. Did you know? You just said across the pond. I've said it 1,000 times. We both know it is an ocean and not a pond.
Correct.
Those in Europe hate that phrase because they think that we think it's actually a pond. honestly, in a previous life, after the 3-2 pitch to Rojas, back to Chacin. In a previous life, when I was working at ESPN, and we were doing a version of SportsCenter that aired overseas, we had to do it differently than the American version for rights issues and stuff.
Right.
So it aired in Europe, and the producer, who had lived in Europe at the time, he came over as we're launching this show, and he said, whatever you do, don't say across the pond. And that was the explanation. They think we're stupid. Some of us are, like myself. Our producer would say that. You'll tell me that. Constantly, 5-6 times a night. You'll tell me that.
That's not true at all.
7-8 times, whatever the number is.
Stop the sabotage now.
So yeah, when Jonathan's here next month, don't say that. Okay?
I won't.
You enlighten me on, pitch recognition and pitch sequencing and defense and stuff like that. I'll tell you that. Okay?
I will keep the across the pond in my pocket.
There you go. There you go. Cameron Maben takes a called strike. Maben popped up to Miller at second base to end the first inning. And chops this one to Shaw. Close play at first base, but Maben is retired for out number 2.
Maben hustling out of the box. Boy, oh boy, that last step just barely got him.
Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Brian Holiday on the ground to Saladino. And both pitchers go 1, 2, 3 in the third.
Marlins Park, where we have a close one between the Marlins and the Brewers. We've been talking about Major League Baseball lookalikes tonight, but apparently members of our Fox Marlins crew can have lookalikes as well, and that includes our very own Craig Minervini, who apparently looks just like Mr. Reuter. I mean, that is a spitting image. So well done, Craig. Two very handsome men right there.
Oh, yeah, this is where he fights back. Here we go.
Was that Mr. Rogers? I didn't hear what you said.
No,
Yes,
Reuter.
Mr. Reuter.
Oh, Mr. Reuter.
Yes, Reuter.
Oh, okay. All right. I
The
don't
plumber.
see the picture, so I have to look at it.
Yeah.
I don't have a monitor here.
Especially with your new haircut.
I'm the only guy who gets a haircut, and it's like major news. Holly's had 3 haircuts in a week.
That's right.
Nobody says a word.
Yeah. I do mine opener of every series. So like every 3
you
days.
got a haircut. You got a haircut, and you got about 10 years younger with that haircut.
Well,
It's good. You're looking good.
I'll take it.
No, you do. It's a good-looking haircut.
Thank you very much.
Usually, you're worried about your tips.
Jolie Chassin pops up to Rojas, and there's one away here in the fourth. I will say this. So we've been running the greatest moments in Marlins history, and Craig, of course, has been here a while. I tell you what, I'm being honest. Craigers, if you could still hear me, you haven't aged a day since interviewing Castillo. What year was the hit streak?
I think that was 2002, my first year with the Marlins.
So unless you have like taped stuff in an effort to refresh the video,
That's right.
You haven't aged.
Well, I know what it is. Good, clean living, right, Craig?
Yeah,
Egg whites for breakfast? What do you got?
That's the way it is. I
that what it
don't know.
Good, clean
My daughter's
living.
here. Maybe it's your kids keep you young.
right.
My daughter Spencer's here today. And that's probably the answer.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know. Well, sounds good.
You get points with your daughter, so that's good.
Yeah.
Which one is she, Craig?
Take a guess. Her favorite Marlin is at the plate. And I thought Christian was going to have a neck injury before the game when she said hello to it. Oh, my goodness.
There's Christian Yelich taking a strike on the inside corner. Couple of hits for Yelich tonight. A double in the first, a 2 RBI single, and a run scored in the second. A 1-2-3 third inning for Lopez. And with a pop-up and a ground ball, trying to get through this fourth inning the same way. Upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, Lopez has done a nice job expanding the zone this third time through. Thames before his last at bat, 2 for 2, and only seen 3 pitches. Yelich, same situation, 2 for 2. He too had only seen 3 pitches.
And a called strike 3 on the inside corner. 4th strikeout for Lopez. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By the Cleveland Clinic. Come out and join us for our community grand opening event on July 21st from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. For more information, visit clevelandclinic.org/Coral Springs and by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Looks like the storm is cleared out. South Florida. Boy, was it pretty gruesome right around first pitch. Thunder, lightning, all over the place. Roof closed. Was open last night for the 19th time already this year. Pablo Lopez to lead things off. And he takes outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Lopez, Dietrich, and Anderson here in the 4th against Jolie Chassin. Misses outside to Lopez, who had his first big league hit in the 2nd inning. Now 3-1. Two runs in the 1st inning for the Marlins. RBI singles from Cooper and Riddle. And a sac fly from Derek Dietrich in the 2nd as Lopez works the walk. Leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 4 innings. Last of this 3-game set tomorrow. Freddie Peralta and Dan Straley, South Florida Honda dealers, present the Marlins Live pregame show. Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson out in front of the series finale and season finale against Milwaukee. Lopez on at first. The 2nd walk of the night issued by Chassin as Dietrich lines one into right center field. Lopez heads toward 3rd. Dietrich on his way to 2nd. The throw beat him.
Two-seam fastball once again. That's the pitch he doubled on his first at bat. Rips it into right center field this time. Nice job by Lopez getting around the bases. Boy, he's been active tonight.
Well, he wasn't out for lack of hustle.
No, he certainly he throttled down. I mean, there's no misstep there. That's just a perfect throw.
As Anderson grounds to short, but with the infield back, it'll be an RBI ground out for Anderson, and the Marlins are within a run. Well, for a guy who has been so successful with runners in scoring position to the tune of the 3rd best batting average, not a hit for BA, but an RBI nonetheless to close the gap to 1.
No, it's also recognizing the situation, putting the ball in play, knowing the infield's back, and giving him that. It's the ball hard. Does his job.
Here's Starlin Castro. He's reached twice, once on a walk and once on an E6. RBI number 46 for Brian Anderson. 1-1 to Castro. This one skied out to center field. Broxton for the final out of the 4th. But the Marlins get one back and close the gap to 5-4 through 4. Welcome back to Miami. The FIFA World Cup semifinals continue tomorrow as Luka Modric leads Croatia against Harry Kane and England. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox, or stream all the action live on the Fox Sports app.
It's your guy Harry Kane right over there on the right.
Yeah.
He looks psyched.
I would be too if you're in the semifinals of the World Cup. This thing comes around once every 4 years.
So I was trying to tell you, you need to sell that advertisement with that type of enthusiasm right there, and you did.
I don't want to overshadow the soccer.
He did. You got to bring it though.
This one into the seats. And the Ryan Braun fan makes the play. Ball and a strike to Jesus Aguilar. Travis Shaw and Tyler Saladino to follow. Lopez has retired the last 6 Brewers.
Now part of that is pitch efficiency. First 2 innings, 51 pitches. 3rd and 4th inning, 23. That rhythm that we were talking about, kind of using the secondary pitches, attacking the strike zone, certainly apparent in that 4th inning. So he rolled back over. Weak ground out by Thames and a strikeout of Yelich. Yeah.
3-2 to Aguilar, who's walked twice, came around to score in the 2nd inning. A 4-run 2nd inning for the Brewers. This one is in the air, shallow left. It will be Riddle for the first down. It's time now for this day in Major League history. 1 year ago tonight, Aaron Judge, 47 home runs, including a few that may have gotten lost in the rafters here at Marlins Park. Judge, of course, edged Justin Bour 23-22 in round 1. Got past Cody Bellinger 13-12 in round 2. 11-10 over Miguel Sano. I mean, what a power display. There are certainly a lot of Aaron Judge fans around the country. And that was, I mean, all you've heard since this ballpark opened up was it's a pitcher's park. If you watch the home run derby, it didn't seem like it. Say what you will about the baseballs and the strength, but Judge got all the headlines. How close was Bour to, I mean, he put himself on the map, but I mean, just bursting out as a superstar.
I would say it like this, and I think Marlins fans would probably agree with me. He only had 1 round. Great changeup. Only had 1 round, and he hit 22 home runs, but I think it was the 2nd best performance of the night, even though he was knocked out early. You know what I mean? You can go anywhere you want with who Judge beat and how that all played out. The drama was that round. It was Bour versus Judge.
Yeah. Well, it was a coming out party for sure for Judge, who had put together a great first half and slowed down a little bit afterwards. Found out that he had some sort of an injury that he was dealing with. And it was off the glove of Lopez. And Shaw will reach.
Yeah, they call this PFP for a reason. Pitcher fielding practice. Slow roll it to the right side. Does a nice job. Gives him a good feed. He's going to catch the ball. Simple as that. So it doesn't lead to damage. E1.
Shaw is aboard for Saladino. There's a strike. That's just a situation of trying to catch the ball and find the bag at the same time, right? Looked like he may have taken his eye off the ball, right? You know, figure, oh, I got this one, and then step on the bag.
Well, you can't assume anything. You got to catch the ball first. But you're right. I mean, that's probably what he would answer, I think. Never really found myself in that position before, but it did appear that way.
Well, he'll try to pitch himself out of trouble. 1 on, 1 out in a 1-run game in the 5th. Ground ball. Riddle gets to it. Throw to second. On to first. Not in time. Great play by Riddle. Not only to keep that on the infield, but to throw a strike to second to get Shaw.
How about there's even a play at first base? I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, we get to see this every night. And I'm telling you, JT Riddle has been so impressive. Starling Castro, quick turn, even gets a throw off. Saladino out of the box has got to be thinking, I got a shot at a base hit. Wait, what? And now they're going to double me up. I better turn it on. He just barely makes it across the bag.
Two outs for Brad Miller. Takes a strike.
I tell you, the more I watch JT Riddle, I just can't get smooth defender out of my mind. You watch him play the position, you know, he doesn't lead you to believe tremendous quick foot speed or fast hands or dominant, overpowering arm. But when you watch him play, he is so fluid and smooth.
Runner goes. Bad idea.
Like that right there.
A strike for Holiday as he has caught another base runner. Leading Major League Baseball in caught stealing percentage. Got him. Deficit for the Marlins. Time for the Chevrolet Prospect Spotlight. We focus in on Magneuris Sierra, acquired in the trade with St. Louis when Marcell Ozuna went to the Cardinals. Hits in 6 of his last 8 games. He's 10 for 24. A double, a triple, an RBI. Playing at AAA with the Baby Cakes. So look at Sierra, albeit a quick one. Garrett Cooper digs in. We'll take another look. Right here. Go ahead.
No, you're not supposed to get a fast look at him. You're supposed to get a quick look at him. You know that.
Okay. All right.
See what I'm saying?
Because of his speed.
He's so fast.
Got it. Now I got you.
So quick.
Excellent work.
There you go. Very nice. A little blink of the eye.
By the way, for AAA, Eric Campbell and Zach Allen are going to represent New Orleans tomorrow night. Well, not tomorrow night. Excuse me. Next week in the AAA All-Star game. Next Wednesday. Garrett Cooper was in the AAA All-Star game last year. Now at the big league level. with an RBI back in the first inning. Cooper, Riddle, Rojas. Cooper is retired for the first out here in the 5th. Third strikeout for Chassin. A ribby tonight for Riddle, but he is doing it on both sides of the ball the last couple of weeks. This one to first base. Aguilar to Chassin for out number 2.
And you find it out. Chassin has been on the ropes a number of times, but he's managed his pitch count. He's had a few quick innings here of late.
Well, he's been around the block, 10 years in the big leagues.
Right. I guess kind of where I was going with that is that he's at 75 pitches and he's 1 out away from getting through 5. Watch the first 2 innings. You thought, how in the world will he survive 3?
His 187th career start. 6 years with the Rockies and 1 year stops with, or parts of 1 year stops with the Diamondbacks, the Padres, the Angels, the Braves, and now the Brewers. Ball and 2 strikes to Rojas. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Strikeout and a ground out as Javi Guerra, pitched in last night's game through 17 pitches, is up. Rojas, soft looper, caught by Saladino. A few steps onto the outfield grass. We are through 5 in Miami. 5-4.
Stars for an unforgettable show from the nation's capital, the MLB All-Star Game, July 17th, only on Fox. Stream it live on the Fox Sports app.
Five 4 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. Brad Miller, who was up when Saladino was caught stealing, back in the box with a fresh count. And takes a look at strike 1 from Pablo Lopez. Brad Miller, Keon Broxton, and Eric Kratz. First 2 innings, 5 runs against Lopez. Last 3 zeros on the board.
Well, and you've sensed, I'm sure, over the last few innings, Marlins fans, if you're watching closely, the unpredictable nature that Lopez has now got. I mean, a first pitch changeup, Second pitch fastball, the back and forth that he's got going. See right there, Miller was hunting fastballs his first two at bat. They're on an 0-2 pitch. Had to defend against that changeup, which he has struck out on already tonight.
Swung on and missed. Strike three. That's his fifth.
This is, again, some really good sequencing. Back-to-back fastballs at the top of the zone. Miller is overmatched.
Well, for those that may have missed the first couple of starts for Pablo Lopez, as Keon Broxton swings and misses, he really kind of kicked the door down. He was the one that started the day after Sandy Alcantara made his major league debut and got his first big league win. The next night, Lopez made his first major league start, the first Marlins start for Alcantara. So they win in back-to-back nights. First set of teammates to earn wins in their first starts in consecutive days since 2012. Yu Darvish and Neftali Feliz. They had terrific numbers in the minor leagues, a 1.44 ERA. Didn't allow a run in his first 22 innings at Double-A Jacksonville. As Broxton flies one down the right field line. It's Anderson for out number 2. So a combined 1.44 ERA at Double-A and Triple-A, and Lopez was called up right around the same time that Straley had to deal with that suspension from everything that went on in San Francisco with the Giants, and Caleb Smith went down with the season-ending injury. Jose Urena, short stint on the DL, so a need arose. In stepped Alcantara, and now Lopez.
Now Kratz is 0 for his last 22 for his first hit in the month of July.
Oh, and 2. Just below the strike zone, a ball and 2 strikes.
Don Mattingly mentioned pregame today, certainly was hoping for some length from Lopez. I think under duress and circumstances, he'd be pretty happy to report that he's got a chance to get through 6.
Up over 100 pitches as he retires. Kratz has faced the minimum through the last 4 innings, 4 scoreless innings. Can't take the first 5 runs off the board, however. Marlins trying to fight back from a 1-run deficit.
military by sharing a photo or video with hashtag #HatsOffForHeroes. For each post, T-Mobile will donate $1 to support veterans.
That right there is Louis Chow, interpreter for Wei Yin Chen, among many other things with the ball club. He does not know, has not known, there is a cup that is gummed to his hat.
Let me say this. Chow is loved
absolutely
by the team. The team absolutely loves him. They adore him. There's a lot of people who have a lot of fun with him. He's a delightful human being. Chow, you got something on your head. Wake up. That's all I can do for you. I'm way too far away. Shake your head. It'll fall off. No, not happening.
I mean, that is on there, snug. And he must love the fit of the cap, too, because he hasn't adjusted the cap in 3-4 innings.
It takes the delicate hands of like a surgeon to get the cup on the hat with the gum without him knowing.
Right.
It's a gift. It's a practice gift, though.
There had to be a diversion.
I'll tell you what, the tomfoolery of a major league dugout.
Cameron Maben retired. You ever partake in a hot foot?
Yes.
You did?
Absolutely.
Well, I need the details, pal.
There's not a whole lot of details to tell.
You set a guy's foot on fire. That's the story? Come on.
It didn't really happen that way. And honestly, I think we all got nervous after it happened. It was early in my career. There's a lot of water. Real quick. I don't know. It didn't really materialize the way we thought it was. Kind of sparked up a little faster than it was supposed to. And next thing you know, we were all throwing water at him.
Yeah, well.
I don't know. It really wasn't funny. That's why, you know what I mean? It's just setting another human on fire. Just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It wasn't the intent.
Stick to the cups and the gum.
Sure.
Now, what usually happens, at least for us, the way that I'd always seen the cup on the hat and the gum was to put the cup upright.
Okay.
Not down, because now you can't play basketball with him.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
All right, so you flip that cup around and it's on his head, and everybody starts throwing sunflower seeds at him all game long. He has no idea why. See what I'm saying?
So that's pretty much the extent of it tonight.
Game
that's
within
where
a game.
It ends.
Game within a game. Well, it has to, unless I don't think anybody hollowed out the bottom end of that cup, but it's kind of where that one usually goes.
It's a story we'll follow throughout the evening here in Fox Sports Florida.
Breaking news.
Absolutely. Ball and 2 strikes to Brian Holiday. You saw Yadiel Rivera on deck. So that figures to be the end of the night for Pablo Lopez after 6 innings. One-two to Holiday, misses low and away.
Well, same story for Chacin. My goodness. Through 5 innings, 79 pitches. He's given himself a chance to get through 6. The way this game started.
A base hit and a run scored for Holiday in the 2nd inning tonight. Less than 24 hours after his first career walk-off. 5th of the year for the Marlins. This one on the ground is Saladino. 2 away.
The next all-you-can-eat Saturday is this weekend when the Marlins take on the Phillies. Starting at just $30, you'll get a ticket to the game, unlimited Nathan's hot dogs, popcorn, peanuts, nachos, and Pepsi soft drinks, or Aquafina water. Purchase your tickets for all-you-can-eat Saturdays at marlins.com/AYCE. Rivera gets the pinch hitting appearance tonight. 6'4", 22 on the season as a pinch hitter. It's .273 average.
Six innings of work on the mound for Lopez, and pretty productive at the plate too. His first career hit in the 2nd inning, walked and scored in the 4th. We see you. And again, you'll look at the final line and you'll say, all right, 6 innings, 5 runs, not a quality start. But again, if you dissect it, 1 in the first, 4 in the second. He had to battle those 2 innings and then really settled in the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Goose eggs. Foul ball.
And I think tonight he'll take away what good breaking pitches feel like out of his hand, what they look like in a major league ballpark. There were a number of times tonight in hitters' counts he was able to use that changeup against a couple of the lefties. You saw the big breaking ball at times. He threw a 3-2 slider to Aguilar that he popped up, got out in front of. And what you saw from him, talking to Lopez here early on, meaning going all the way back to the minute he got here, you saw a lot of great two-seamers, and that's kind of who he was. And again, you know, we're kind of watching his story unfold in front of our eyes, and that's the story. He's got a good two-seamer. I think tonight you say, you know what, he can throw a good changeup, and he does have a pretty decent breaking ball. I wouldn't have said that before the start of tonight.
Well, 3rd big league start, and just in terms of innings pitched, he's given him 6 innings, 2 of the 3 starts. So that's certainly something to be happy about if you are the Marlins. If you are the Brewers, it's time to make a pitching change. Dan Jennings has been summoned from the bullpen by Craig Counsell. The Florida Lottery called the bullpen. Back to Marlins Park in a moment. The gum. Now he tells the story. Here's how it unfolded. We told you that we'd keep you posted tonight. Lewis Prince, and we got him. There you go. The new Monopoly jackpot scratch-offs from the Florida Lottery are a new spin on a classic. They're loaded with prizes from $10,000 to $2 million, so unleash the excitement anytime. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket, must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. So Dan Jennings is in. Began his major league career with the Marlins 2012, 13, 14. And went to the White Sox for a couple of years, the Rays, and now in his first year with the Brewers in his 43rd game. He'll face Dietrich with Rivera on at first in a 1-run game here in the 6th.
You know, sinker slider, throws 91, 92 miles an hour. That slider about 83. The last 6 innings of work, only a couple of hits allowed. 7 Ks. He's inherited 23 runners this season. 5 have scored. Dietrich having a nice night.
Double in the first, a sac fly in the second, and a base hit in the 4th. Takes outside, 1-0.
Yeah, can't say I didn't see that coming.
You were out in front of that one, pal. And you had the discipline to not disrupt the traffic to get to the point.
Well, I'll tell you what, for whatever reason, Chacin struggles with leadoff hitters, guys who hit out of the #1 spot. Dietrich backed me up tonight.
Chopped right side. This is Saladino with the shift. And they get Dietrich by a step. So Jennings comes in and keeps it a 5-4 game.
Ball game between the Marlins and the Brewers. We've also been talking about our MLB lookalikes. What you may know is that Ricky Nolasco spent 7+ seasons with the Marlins, racked up over 1,000 strikeouts during that time. What you may not have known is that his celebrity doppelganger is Buddy, aka the Cake Boss. That might be one of my favorite ones so far. Guys, we've gotten a lot of great tweets at Fox Marlins about the MLB lookalikes. How about Justin Bohr is really Amos on The Expanse, Starlin Castro and Bruno Mars. Even Freddie Gonzalez has gotten compared to NHL head coach Barry Trotz. This has really been a fun one tonight.
Jessica, thanks. I've been told that I look like Jason Statham's lighting double. I mean, physique aside, that not so much. Toughness aside, not so much. Athleticism, no. Probably just the hair.
I've been told I look a lot like Trey Hollinsworth. It's my youngest son.
All right, well, that works.
Well, he's popular in my household.
Absolutely. Perhaps more popular than you.
He is, that's a fact.
Adam Conley into work the 7th. He'll face Nate Orff off of the Brewers bench, and then the top of the order, Eric Thames and Christian Yelich. So an email Twitter Tuesday, I got one here from one of our favorites, the 97-year-old lady from Panama City Beach. On the heels of the walk-off last night. Says it's time to say hello again. Last night, a great win. So proud of you. We can go into the break on the upside if you continue to win, and you can. I'm glad to see the pitchers are walking and not running, except when they're on base. That's good. And they've been doing some good hitting, so keep up the hitting. It's really been improved. Orff out to Maben in center field. So she sent that before, I believe, or at least I got it after Pablo Lopez got a hit and a walk and a run scored tonight. So nailing it right on with the pitchers hitting tonight.
Adam Conley's had a very nice season so far. He's really made a home for himself late innings in the Marlins bullpen. And I'll tell you what, there's a lot to be said about his last 2 appearances, both of them in D.C. Of course, this is probably the right time to talk about it because now he's in the ball game. Certainly proud of his efforts. You go back to July 5th. I mean, he got knocked around by the Nats. Didn't have his command. Walked 4, gave up 5 earned runs, obviously his worst outing of the season. And again, Adam Conley had been lights out up until that moment in time. But you fast forward a few days and we get to the final game in D.C. Don Mattingly called upon him for 2 innings to go up against some of the same guys that he had just struggled with. He gave him 2 innings, no walks, 4 punch-outs, and it just said volumes about Adam Conley and how much he's grown.
A strikeout of Thames for the second out here in the 7th. Well, he certainly carved out a niche for himself in that Marlins bullpen. He, Ziegler, Steckenrider, Bearclaw. Outside to Yelich. And I think back to his last appearance, the 2-inning appearance in D.C. The slider came back. All of a sudden it showed itself, and it was an incredibly effective pitch. He's using it once again tonight. I mean, if he has that on a nightly basis when he obviously is called upon to pitch, 3 or 4 of them in a group of 15 over 1 inning. I mean, that is the great equalizer. Of course, he's got the good changeup, but again, when you throw 95 miles an hour, guys are really dialed into one pitch as hard as he's been throwing. If you can get horizontal across the strike zone, particularly against the lefties with that slider, he is going to get even more difficult to hit. Couple hits tonight for Yelich. A spin out of the way of that one. 3 balls and a strike. A double in the first inning. A 2-run single and a run scored in the second. He's able to just barely get out of the way of that one. 3-1 with Aguilar on deck. Now 3-2. Jeremy Jeffress for the Brewers.
Now with that last fastball advantage, Conley. Christian Yelich with a full count in 2018 is 1 for 35. 0-29. We've been sitting on that one for a few at bats.
Update the numbers. Go ahead.
1 for 36.
Nicely done. Nicely done by Conley. 1, 2, 3 in the 7th.
Welcome back. It's been an exciting ball game. Brewers able to get on the scoreboard first. Ground ball up the middle is run number 1. Guess what? Bottom of the first, the Marlins would respond after a Dietrich double. Cooper base hit. Riddle. Another RBI single himself. Christian Yelich not to be denied. 2-run single going back through the middle. Saladino drives in 2 more. Brewers out in front, 5-2 at this point in the game. Marlins are going to fight back. A sacrifice fly almost to the same spot last night. Foul territory, gets number 3 across. Here's run number 4, Brian Anderson. The infield back, able to drive in Lopez. Well, there you go. That's where we stand. Zeros over the last few innings. Bullpen's taking over now. 1-run game.
Here's Jeremy Jeffress. He'll face Brian Anderson to lead things off. There's a strike. Anderson, Castro, Cooper. We saw Jeffress last night pitched the 5th inning, or came into the 5th inning. Pitched an inning and a third last night.
Fastball curveball from Jeffress. He'll throw the sinker and a 4-seam fastball. Complements that with a 12-6 breaking ball. And last night's victory for the Marlins kind of defeated the Brewers at a lot of things they do really all over the season. Talked about it during last night's ball game. Of course, this is a 1-run game as well. Base hit for Brian Anderson, right back through the box.
For Anderson, another multi-hit game. His 30th of the year. Tying runs on to start the 7th.
I mentioned it last night, sir. Certainly worth noting once again tonight as a 43-14 record for the Brewers when they score first. Of course, Marlins walked them off last night. They're also pretty good in 1-run ball games. 21-12. It's one of the better 1-run game records in the National League. They were the top spot last night.
Well, it was the 7th inning last night that Starlin Castro connected on a home run. This is how they play him, the distribution of balls in play on the infield.
And StatCast, powered by AWS, certainly shows you. Look at the 3 Brewer defenders right in the middle of the hot zones.
Castro with an 8-game hit streak. He walked and scored a run in the 1st inning to extend his on-base streak to 16 games, but yet to register a hit in 2 official trips tonight. Also reached on an error. 2-1.
You see the career numbers against Jeffress. Starlin Castro's been handling the top of the zone. I see Jeffress a number of times throughout his career. He really likes to expand the strike zone. Of course, the 12-6 breaking ball, but you may eventually see a stray fastball up high. I'll tell you what, Starlin Castro has been on elevated velocity an awful lot lately.
That was low velocity at 97 miles an hour. It's 3-1. Castro started the day leading all National League second basemen in hits with 109. Strike 2.
That's a good take. Borderline pitch at 97.
Runner goes, swung on and missed. Throw to second is in time. And you strike him out, throw him out, double play, 2 away here in the 7th.
Now, no fastballs up, only fastballs down. In fact, the last 4 fastballs down. Castro chases just a bit, maybe off the plate, hard to tell. PA slides into the tag at second base.
Garrett Cooper swings over the top of that one, 0-1.
No.
98 at the knees, 0-2. Javi Guerra up for the second time in the ball game. We'll be getting ready for the 8th inning. Aguilar, Shaw, and Saladino due up for the Brewers. The 0-2 to Cooper. Called a ball. You see that's what I was talking about a few innings ago. Like a missed spot gives the illusion that it wasn't a strike.
Yeah, it's where the human element gets involved. I mean,
Right.
even a home plate umpire is watching and, you know, is in the flow of the game or the flow of the catch. You watch a catcher who sets up on the outside corner, track all the way across home plate to catch a 96-mile-an-hour fastball and say, well, he missed his spot by 1.5 feet. Well, it's still in the strike zone, though.
That's like the argument which has now been eliminated because of instant replay. Well, you're out because the ball beat you. Well, he never tagged me. 1-2. This is outside. Two and two. This is just outside.
That's a good take. That ball's off that outside corner at 97. Did not get back.
Oh, Jefferson's missed in this at bat. He hasn't missed by much. This a line drive up the middle, a base hit for Cooper, second hit of the game.
Nice in-game adjustment. I think it's a 3-2 breaking ball. And again, this was the pitch that was giving him fits. Of course, his first at bat, he had a line drive base hit the other way, 103 miles an hour off the bat. It was a fastball. Got himself out, sent a lot of messages kind of around the ballpark that he was struggling with the breaking ball. This 3-2 breaking ball right back through the box. So nice in-game adjustment by Cooper. Multi-hit game tonight.
Here's JT Riddle. Low and in. An RBI single for Riddle in the first inning. Marlins scored 2 in the first, 1 in the second, 1 in the fourth. Trying to find the equalizer and maybe more here in the 7th inning. Anderson led off the inning with a single, but a strike him out, throw him out, double play. He raced him, and then a 2-out base hit up the middle for Cooper. And we talked about last night how the Brewers may be in on a big name like Manny Machado and how they have certainly made that splash in the past. We often think about CC Sabathia, but also Zach Greinke back in 2010. And part of the trade to get Greinke included Jeremy Jeffress and Lorenzo Cain, Alcides Escobar, Jake Odorizzi. So second stint for Jeffress, who gets a ground ball up the middle to retire Riddle and get through the 7th inning. A one-run game here in Miami. For the Toyota Inside Look, speed and power since 1887. So we're going a ways back here. 20 teams have led their league in stolen bases and home runs. And the last 2 times it occurred, the Milwaukee Brewers, 2012 and last year, 224 home runs, 128 stolen bases. This year, second in home runs and first in stolen bases. As we welcome you back inside the broadcast booth, Paul Severino and Todd Hollandsworth. So again, a lot of headlines as we gear up toward the trade deadline coming up at the end of July, and the Milwaukee Brewers are in first place right now. We mentioned it in the last half inning with Jeffress, and in that trade for Greinke, they've gone after CC Sabathia. They have gone after the big fish at the deadline, and this is a team where you figure, well, they're kind of in a win now sort of mode.
Sure are. There's no doubt about it. I think ultimately they will probably be big-time players when it comes down to the deadline. I expect them to probably add to this roster. I mean, you look at the bullpen. Check, got that, enough arms, maybe a few more that they'd like to add. You look at the starting rotation, you think maybe you could tweak it a little bit. Is there an ace out there that you could possibly go get? Point being is that they cover a lot of the bases. Like, this is a team that's screaming, get them a little help because it'll really put them over the top. They've played great baseball here in the first half, no doubt about it. Craig Counsell's done a fantastic job with this Brewers team. Shows you the homers and the stolen bases and the number of people that have done it. Talked to Brian Anderson over with the Brewers. He tells us the same thing. He goes, honestly, the best thing about the first half has been the depth of the organization.
Well, I mean, they've got a guy in Domingo Santana or Orlando Arcia who certainly have made an impact at the big league level. They're in AAA right now. They may have had some ups and downs, but at the same time, they've had a tough time getting at bats. Right. And we have heard those names kind of thrown in for maybe the biggest fish on the trade market right now in Manny Machado.
Well, they have the ability to add, and I think that's impressive, for the Milwaukee Brewers. And here's what you need to know about them is that they've been willing to do it as you kind of mapped out so perfectly. Their history in these situations, they've been willing to spend, even though there might be an instant shock or a sticker price that gets you the right person for the job in order to help them get to where they want to go.
Speaking of Machado, a couple of home runs tonight, number 22 and 23 off Tanaka and Green, as the Yankees and Orioles are tied up at 5.
You know, it feels like it just adds fuel to that fire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every time he has one of those games.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're like, you know, he could have done that for us tonight if we'd have just, you know, sped the process up a little bit.
Well, that was the thing about the Brewers is when they went out and got CC Sabathia, they got him a lot earlier.
Well,
than,
and that was the argument was
right.
that we wanted CC to make starts for us earlier. Yeah, we're going to just wait to the deadline just to wait to the deadline.
2-2 pitch on the way to Aguilar, tapped in front of the mound. Guerra up with it and will retire Aguilar. It was July 7th that the Brewers acquired CC Sabathia, so they're able to squeeze out whatever it was, you know, 3, maybe 4 starts extra, and he was an absolute monster, pitching on short rest and going complete games.
Well, if I remember correctly, they needed those 3 and 4 starts, by the way.
Yes. And the other part of that is that, no, they did not sign Sabathia to a long-term deal.
Well, and
maybe if they were to acquire Machado, they probably wouldn't have the whatever money is in the coffers for him either.
Yeah, but the willingness to make a run. I mean, I think that's it, and that's why the Brewers are applauded for being aggressive the way that they have been, particularly with, you know, ownership group that they've got. You even look at this past winter. Not only did they get Lorenzo Cain, they stepped up and got Christian Yelich almost at, what was it, within 24 hours of each other.
Yeah. Yep.
And that was something that they needed. We talked about this. And again, we showed it to you. Homers and stolen bases. Lots of athletes, speed and power. But, you know, sandwiched in between those numbers we showed you, lots of strikeouts. Some home road splits that didn't necessarily favor them on the road. And what'd you do? You brought in 2 outfielders that are consistent, that play every day, and don't take days off.
And Cain only getting the day off today because he's still working his way back from a groin injury. So it's kind of the, as I found out today, kind of like the maintenance program essentially. So he'll play 2, get 1 off. As Shaw taps it foul, 3-2. Payoff pitch on the way to Shaw. Out to right field. Anderson looking up. And a solo home run makes this a 2-run game.
Well, if you're getting back in the count, 3-2 with a fastball. Here it goes with the slider. Doesn't get it far enough in. Take another look. Kind of hung out inner third.
Saladino takes a strike. th homer of the year for Travis Shaw. Now Saladino out to right center field. Maben a step onto the track for out number 2. Talking additions for the Brewers. Here's Brad Miller, who was not on their opening day roster. He was with the Rays. He had 256 with Tampa Bay this year, 5 homers, 21 RBIs in 48 games. But he's already had a 9-game hit streak at one point for Milwaukee, which is the longest by a Brewer this year. It's only his 15th game. Ball and 2 strikes to Miller, who has struck out twice tonight. 2 of the 6 strikeouts for Pablo Lopez in his 3rd big league start. Rojas, Maben, Holiday due up for the Marlins in the bottom of the 8th inning, trailing by at least 2. But they have some weapons off the bench as Miller swings and misses to end the inning. But a home run for Travis Shaw has made it a 6-4 Brewers lead.
At home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Welcome back as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning in a 6-4 ball game. Brewers on top in the middle game of 3. Jonathan VR takes over at second base, 1/2 of the double switch. And the other side, Corbin Burnes making his major league debut, the top pitching prospect in the Brewers system, their minor league pitcher of the year last year. They recently moved him to the bullpen in AAA to prepare him for what he should and is doing with the Brewers right now. He'll face Rojas, Maben, and Holiday. His first pitch, a little up.
Surprised?
No.
Entered 2018. The second best prospect in the organization. Brewers 2017 minor league pitcher of the year. 26 games, 8-3 record, 1.67 ERA. 145 innings, 140 punch-outs. Only gave up 3 home runs. That's the one that caught my attention.
Rojas looking for his first hit of the ball game. 0 for 3 tonight. Well, it's an email Twitter Tuesday. We had the hashtag of MLB lookalikes, and we've got this one from Steve Wolf. He says Derek Dietrich reminds me of Roger Dorn from the Major League movies. The actor is Corbin Burnson. The pitcher is Corbin Burnes. Just to clarify for you, Holly, I don't want you getting confused over there.
I'm not.
Dietrich.
I knew you were going there.
Absolutely. Well, I asked for the shot earlier. I was rebuffed. And now, make my own rules now.
It's true. You are making your own rules. I knew you were going to get there somehow. I really did.
You can't not shoot the pitcher.
I knew you were going to get there.
That's it. Dorn's look-alike on the iPad in the dugout. This one to short. Saladino retires Rojas for the first out.
Well, after Shaw's home run in the top of the 8th, the Marlins now chasing 2. They need a runner and get some traffic on the bases. Get this thing going once again. Running out of time, down to 5 outs.
Here's Cameron Maben. 0 for 3 today as a 6-game hit streak. Pop up in 2 groundouts. A little low. By my count, I've got Saladino at 7 assists tonight. Been a lot of action over at short for Saladino. There's some action in center for Broxton. Just kind of drifted back on the line drive right at him.
Yeah, Brock's a pretty good athlete. I was more impressed with the swing. Maben, that was a rocket off of his bat.
Freddie Peralta, Dan Straley tomorrow in the last of 3 in the season finale between these two teams. And then the Brewers go to Pittsburgh to wrap up the unofficial first half of the season. Brian Holiday swings at the first pitch, grounds it right to Justin Bohr, who is in the on-deck circle. Ben Meyer up for the Marlins. Yeah, the Brewers go to Pittsburgh. They'll play Thursday, they'll play Friday, they'll play 2 on Saturday, and then they'll play Sunday. A 5-game series.
Yeah, that's the way you end the first half right there.
Oh, boy.
Well, you know what that'll do? I mean, that All-Star break will be, I mean, you will love every second of it.
They will sleep well, yeah. Well, not all of them. Yelich going to the All-Star game for the first time. Hader. And we'll see. Maybe, I believe it's tomorrow night. The announcement's tomorrow night for whether or not Jesus Aguilar is going to win the final vote. He was the leader today. They gave the 24-hour update. So voting ends at 4 o'clock tomorrow. But the inning ends on that strikeout. The first in the career of Corbin Burns. 6-4. showstopper. How about Trevor Bauer today against the Cincinnati Reds, the Ohio Cup? It's the Reds up 7-4 as they go to the bottom of the 9th inning. Lost in all of this. The 7-run 9th inning for Cincinnati. The fact that Bauer had 12 strikeouts.
I'll tell you right now, he had the Jose Fernandez breaking ball going right there.
Absolutely.
You know, big one where your eyes, as a hitter, your eyes start tall on the mound, out of his hand, and the thing drops in, and next thing you know, you just find yourself paralyzed.
Yeah.
And the next time up, you try to defend it, you just look silly. Knee buckling.
That's why I didn't want to be a big leaguer.
Hey, guess what? And he throws 93 to 95 too, by the way.
Yeah. An all-star Trevor Bauer. Ben Meyer will face Keon Broxton, Eric Kratz, and Jonathan Villar. Yeah, so Bauer goes 8 scoreless. He walks 4, strikes out 12. What did he throw? 300 pitches? No, 111 pitches for Bauer. But then Cody Allen, who, last week, a week and a half ago, became the all-time saves leader in Indians history, charged with 6 runs in 2/3 of an inning as the red-hot Cincinnati Reds, might I add.
Wow, you went
scored
there again,
7 runs. Well,
did it fall in your lap?
Well, they're 8. Well, that was no pun intended.
Fell in your lap. Yeah, it was intended.
8 games over 500 since May 8th. Whoa, broken bat, right field, Anderson. And Broxton's retired. Corey Knebel pitched in last night's ball game, saddled with the loss. Will face the pitcher's spot, Dietrich and Anderson.
Well, while we're on the Indians, it's so interesting. That was so dominant for them last year that you mentioned the bullpen, the meltdown. They're 28th in Major League Baseball in ERA.
Eric Kratz gets a base hit and then throws his hands up as he's out of the box. Well, what did he snap? An 0 for 23?
I think that's where we were at, yeah.
And he wanted to steal second base, too. Well, he's feeling good now.
Well, I mean, listen, he broke the 0 for 23, I suppose, the right way. Of course, this is a close ball game. Certainly don't want to see anything happen here in the top of the 9th inning.
I mean, that's just raw emotion right there.
Yeah, I think he's trying to entertain his teammates on the bench. That reaction was right there with him. There you go. That's how you celebrate an 0 for 23 and nobody gets miffed at you, right? You're allowed to celebrate your hits a little bit anyway.
Second double of the year for Kratz, and now it's Jonathan Villar.
No.
1 for 7 this series, this season rather, against the Marlins. Meyer desperately needs to keep this at a 2-run deficit. Bohr, Prado, Chad Wallach, the options off the bench to hit the pitcher spot to lead off the inning. Here's the 1-1 to VR. Swings and misses 1 and 2. Throw down to second. And Riddle does a nice job to corral that throw.
Kratz is thinking, I've been on base for the first time in 3 weeks and you're trying to pick me off second base. Holiday does a very nice job of keeping most runners close. When you throw to any base at any time.
Come on here.
Just got a piece, still 2-2.
Real good changeup by Meyer.
Meyer facing the Brewers for the first time in his career as he delivers a 2-2 pitch that is fouled back. Still 2-2. Quite an at-bat here for VR against Meyer.
We've seen the breaking ball, the changeup, the fastball.
Just missed low. Count runs full. Well, a big pitch here for Meyer. As Thames is on deck, and he has hit some rockets tonight. Bites off another. That got VR. Tried to dance out of the way of it, but got him in the leg or the foot, and there will be 2 on and 1 out.
No getting out of the way of this one. We watched Travis Shaw jump out of the way of a breaking ball, have to get both feet out of the way. VR, no chance of getting out of the way of that fastball.
So in steps Eric Thames, who had a double his last time up. At 107.7 off the bat. Again, got to keep this at 6-4 with Knebel looming. 0-1. Outside of that double, in which he came around to score in the 4-run second, Singleton scored in the first inning. Meyer ahead of him, 0-2. Thames down 0-2, struck out in his last at-bat. Adam Conley got him for his only strikeout in the 7th inning that he worked. 6 strikeouts tonight for Pablo Lopez. And 1 for Javi Guerra, who pitched the 8th. He went around. A big strikeout for Meyer. 2 away here in the 9th inning.
Yeah, this curveball outstanding. Starts out in the zone. Ames sees it just that way. Watch the break. Hard to lay off. That's exactly what he wants. That's what you call a back foot slider or curveball right there to Thames. Left-handed hitters love that zone, and that's where they see the pitch initially early. As it comes out of his hand, it breaks out of the zone.
Here's Yelich. Couple of hits tonight, 2 for 4. And he takes a strike.
Good changeup. A couple of off-speed pitches to work ahead.
Myers got him set up 0-2. Kratz, the runner on second, had a double to snap in 0 for 23. VR, the runner at first, he was hit by the pitch. Jesus Aguilar in the on-deck circle. Myers 0-2. This is low and in. Fair ball over the third base bag. That'll score Kratz. VR being waved around. Here's the throw from Riddle. It's not in time. And Yelich comes through again. It is 8-4.
Well, this is what has made Christian Yelich a special hitter for the Milwaukee Brewers. Many Marlins fans certainly know what he's capable of doing. Look at the elevation. The run. What does he do? He doesn't try to pull that ball. It goes with it. Line to line. 4 RBI tonight for Christian Yelich. I mean, this is a waste pitch. Now 40 RBIs on the season.
And a strike to Aguilar.
You know, one thing we've seen from Yelich tonight, boy oh boy, can he hit a fastball just about anywhere around the plate. He's been fooled on a few breaking balls, and he set up a time or two. You give him a fastball anywhere near the hitting zone, he has been on it.
Aguilar, a couple of walks tonight, came around to score in the second inning. And fans at that offering from Meyer. But the Brewers get 2 big insurance runs from Christian Yelich, 8-4. Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Kubota. For information or to find a Kubota dealer near you, go to gokubota.com. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. We head to the bottom of the ninth here in Miami. A couple of big runs scored by the Brewers in the top of this inning. Hernan Perez takes over in right field, and Martin Prado off the bench will lead off against Corbin Burns, who is staying in his second inning of work.
Now Prado 1-for-1 pinch hitting this season. Very nice job of pinch hitting throughout his career. .310, couple of home runs. The Brewers bullpen, talked about this a little bit earlier. One of the big time strengths of this Brewers team. First 87 games, ERA of 3.01. Of course, they had their issues last night. Last 4 ball games, ERA 6.75. Brewers bullpen tonight. 2 1/3 innings, couple of hits, obviously no runs, no walks, 2 Ks.
Well, Prado, if you include the game that he was injured, he is 10 for 22 with 3 doubles, a home run, and 5 RBIs. This one fouled away, and it's 3-2. Full count pitch to Prado, and look out, Derek Dietrich in the on-deck circle. My goodness. Thankfully, he's okay. Bottom left. Look out.
It did get him on the right elbow.
Of course he got hit by it. What are you, crazy? Come on.
Oh, where did it hit him?
Probably on the elbow guard.
The right elbow. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said it. That's where I'm going with that. He knows how to defend that.
Well, here's Derek Dietrich now with 1 out in the 9th inning. Coming up after the game, Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson, the WB Mason Marlins Live postgame show. We'll break down the night of Pablo Lopez. Gave up 5 runs in the first 2 innings, but settled down with 4 zeros after that. And we'll hear from Don Mattingly after the middle game of this 3-game series. Derek Dietrich takes strike 1. A double and a run scored in the first. He had a sac fly in the second. He did go around, says Brian Gorman over at third. And a hit in the 4th inning for Dietrich tonight, too. So another multi-hit game for Dietrich. Giving 25 on the year as he is approaching his career mark. Career high of 26 multi-hit games the last 2 years, each of the last 2 years. Travis Shaw on the second base side of the bag, and there are 2 away.
Another multi-hit effort for Brian Anderson tonight. Yeah.
He started the day 6th in the National League in hits. He has added 2 more. He is now 8 for 23 this year against the Brewers. Home run, couple of RBIs. This one out to shallow right center field, and it will be Perez to put it away as the Brewers double up the Marlins tonight, 8-4, and take the second game of this 3-game series to set up a rubber match tomorrow night. This right here, the Bonefish fresh catch of the day. Hernan Perez into the game. The ball will find you as it found him. And that will do it. First place Brewers pick up a win tonight. 8-4 the final score. The WB Mason Marlins Live post-game show coming up.